Hey guys, it's Hannah and I'm here today with a review video for you. So for this video, I was so kindly sent a book for review by Month 9 Publishing. I really respect this publishing company because I have worked with them before and I didn't give them a stellar review, but this one, they still decided to work with me, so I am so thankful that they still wanted to reach out to me. And along with sending me a copy for me to review, they are also doing a raffle, so I will leave a link down in the bottom bar below for you guys to be able to enter and win this book. So let's get it on into the review. So this book is Merged by Jim and Stephanie Krofel. I know I am saying that wrong, I'm sorry, but I ended up giving this one a 4 out of 5 stars. So this book takes place in a different type of society where they are trying to save the world's greatest minds. So they recruit these young kids from who show high aptitudes of certain things like chemistry and writing and world peace and art and things like that, and they are recruiting these individuals who show a high aptitude of these things to be paired up with mentors. So these mentors are dying or are in the process of dying, and they are merging their consciousness together. So they are putting the mentor's mind into these 16-year-old bodies, and basically they're going to be able to live inside the 16-year-old body and being able to work. Once they go to sleep in this dreamscape, they're going to be able to work on solving these world problems such as Alzheimer's and preventing gun violence and like writing the world's greatest books and things like that. And so they are working together as that, but they have to go through this grueling procedure, and they're basically donating their body to science. So their families are getting compensated, and they are getting put into this noble's household. So our main character, Lake, who is a noble for chemistry, she has to undergo this procedure of having someone she's never met put into her brain and hoping that 1, the procedure will take place and stick, and 2, that they're going to be able to get along with each other, because once they're in your brain, you can't get away from them. So immediately when I first read this premise, I was so entranced by what an interesting concept. I've never heard of anything like this. And with this, the group of doctors and people who are overseeing these 16-year-olds who are living in this little wing of this household are called the Darwinians, and they are overseeing and they are mentoring them and jotting down notes and they're following their plans of solving the world issues of today. And I think it's just such a cool concept, and I really enjoyed this book. It is very well set out, so the characters are very well developed. We get backstories on Stryker, who is the noble for peace, and Lake, who is the noble for chemistry, and Orphan, who is a noble for art. And these are the main characters. They are very well fleshed out, and we get to see backstories with all of them, and you really feel the connections between them. There is a bit of a romance, but not quite a love triangle. It's not as cliche as a triangle, so I really appreciate how well that was done. And this one, you feel the different struggles because you know the backstories of Lake, who is the main character, or the girl in the story. So you feel for both sides without it being like an obvious one choice, such as an Edward and Jacob situation. So on top of that, they also are dealing with their massive intelligence in this book and talking about, I really appreciated that aspect of it. It's very attuned to my Sherlock Holmes analytical self, because she is the noble for chemistry, so she was watching people's reactions and noting how different synapses were firing and things like that, and that's how she equated to her being attracted to someone or trying to sleuth out what's happening in this program. So with this, the twist is that they are under the premise that they're going to help solve the world problems and make the world a better place. However, things start to get a little bit trickier once they discover that the mentors in their brains may be trying to take over their bodies and live forever. It was such a cool premise. I will say that there's a small bit with pacing that I thought could have been done a little bit better if we had more time. This is a shorter book. It's 270 pages, but with it being only 270 some pages, they did an incredible job with how they weaved this world and didn't make it feel rushed. I think things were very well developed. We got to have the scenery and the environment very well developed. I think a few little bits could have been slowed down so it wasn't, the reveal could have been better. There's one part that we were kind of building up to of seeing someone come out as a spy, and that just kind of got like rushed, I think. But overall, I think that they did really well with the pacing besides that little hiccup. And then things definitely skyrocketed at the end. We definitely got to have that big crescendo at the end with the plot lines. I would love a second book, especially with the epilogue, because I'm so entranced with this world that I didn't want it to end. I was so intrigued. They could have done so much more with this story too, that it makes me hope that there's going to be a second book, because it was so well developed and I really cared for the characters, and I'm so interested in the program that I'm like, I want to see where this program is going to go, especially where they kind of left off. It tied up very nicely, but also you could tell that there could be so much more built into this world. Overall, I really, really enjoyed this book. It was such an easy read to fly through, and I don't find very many sci-fi books, especially in the young adult section, so I was so pleased that this was a sci-fi book. Not fantasy, but science fiction, and it was so cool. I highly recommend checking it out if you are interested in things like Darwinism, or things like seeing where science can take our bodies and take our futures and what can be developed. It was such a cool concept. I really appreciated being asked to review this book, and I was so pleasantly surprised how much I really enjoyed this book. So leave me a comment down below if you think this is something that is up your alley. If you have any recommendations for me that's more science-based books, I would love to read them. And I hope that you guys enter the giveaway down below, because I really enjoyed this book, and I really hope there's a second book, because I am now very much invested in these characters, and I'm like, I need to know like what's gonna happen to several of these characters. So like I said, overall I really enjoyed this book. Let me know down below if you're planning on picking this one up. It does release today, so happy book birthday, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.